Hi, I'm Simon Whistler, you're watching the TopTenz channel, and in the video today we're going to be looking at 10 fun facts about nymphomaniacs. Famous sex researcher Dr. Alfred Kinsey rather cheekily described a nymphomaniac as someone who has more sex than you. However, sex addiction is a serious matter, and in the video today we're going to be looking at 10 interesting and surprising facts about nymphomaniacs.
Top 10 facts about nymphomaniacs. Number 10. No boys allowed. Did you know that the term nymphomania only applies to females? The male counterpart is called satyriasis. Both words are inspired by Greek mythology. Nymphs are minor deities represented as beautiful maidens, and satyrs are woodland creatures depicted as having pointed ears, legs, and short horns of a goat, and a fondness for unrestrained revelry. I guess that's where the term horny comes from then. Why are we all familiar with the term nympho but not satro? Is it because women who are unable to control their sexual desires are more exciting or more newsworthy than a man with the same problem? More likely, it's actually because a willingness to engage in constant sexual activity is considered normal when it comes to men. In fact, historically, the female problem of nymphomania has been taken much more seriously than the male counterpart. Treatments have included cold baths, bromide sedatives, cauterization, and yes, clitoridectomy. Number 9. Too much of a good thing? The book Nymphomania, A History describes how Victorian doctors feared that eating rich food, consuming too much chocolate, dwelling on impure thoughts, reading novels, or performing secret pollutions, which means masturbating, overstimulated women's delicate nerve fibers and led to nymphomania. They were so worried about these delicate nerve fibers that one critic even feared that the use of the speculum itself might so excite a woman's passions that it could cause nymphomania. Number 8. It's all in her head. The same book quoted above also states that phrenologists of the same time period thought an enlarged cerebellum indicated inordinate sexual appetite. A visit to phrenology.org confirms that there are still people who believe in this study of head shapes. Phrenologists believe that the faculty concerned with physical love and sexual attraction is on the lower back of the head behind the ears. The bigger your cerebellum, the bigger the back of your head, meaning you literally have too much sex in the brain. In contrast, the Encyclopedia of Psychology states that scientists now recognize that the shape of the skull does not relate to the shape of the brain. If you're an nymphomaniac, you can decide for yourself. Is that bump on the back of your head from an enlarged cerebellum or from repeated knocks against headboards, car interiors, and airplane bathroom walls? Number 7. Yesterday's nymphomaniacs are today's sex addicts. The term nymphomaniac or nympho is no longer recognized in the medical world. According to health.discovery.com, the term is not scientifically meaningful simply because there are no specific criteria that would define a nymphomaniac. In other words, there isn't a way to determine how much sexual desire or activity is too much. Instead, a person whose sex drive is obsessively high is called hypersexual. Other words used are sexual addiction and compulsivity. No longer used by medical professionals, the term nymphomaniac is still in use in our vocabulary. UrbanDictionary.com defines a nymphomaniac as a horny girl, not to be confused with a slut or skank, where one's sexual dignity is pathetically low. Nymphomania is simply related to an abnormally high sex drive. Abnormal is the key word here. Research has shown that only 8% of the total population and around 3% of women are sexually addicted nymphomaniacs. Number 6. Nymphos Are Sick. Back to Carol Groneman's book Nymphomania, A History. In the Victorian period, both doctors and patients who sought medical help believed that strong sexual desire in a woman was a symptom of disease. Self-control and moderation were central to the health of both men and women, but women's presumably milder sexual appetite meant that any signs of excess might signal that she was dangerously close to the edge of sexual madness. Headlines still support this belief that one false step will send a normal woman spiraling into an oversexed state. The Daily Star reported that a woman was claiming that a fall from her Wii Fitboard turned her into a nymphomaniac. Apparently, nymphomania can be a sports injury as well. In another recent case, a nymphomaniac became the victim of her doctor's inappropriate bedside manner. He lost his license when he started paying house calls to his nymphomaniac patient. Number 5. Nymphomaniacs are not great girlfriends. A nymphomaniac girlfriend might only be great material for a movie, a letter to Playboy, or a fantasy. Real life isn't as fantastic. At worst, they have a serious medical condition. At best, they are exhausting. Here's some handy advice from a website called midlifebachelor.com. Get what you can out of your relationship with a nymphomaniac woman and be prepared to cut your losses in a hurry and move on. sleep with her quickly, and then vanish into thin air as if you were never there to begin with. What lovely advice, and I'm sure all your single ladies out there want this gentleman's phone number. Number 4. Nymphomania is a sin. Christianity. Nymphomania is not condoned in the Bible. Then, when lust has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and when sin is accomplished, it brings forth death. That's from James chapter 1, verse 14 to 15. ChristianAnswers.net provides straightforward and non-judgmental advice for men and women of all walks of life who struggle with addictions to pornography, masturbation, cybersex, and similar sexual practices. There are also sites specifically for women. DirtyGirlsMinistries.com is a Christian anti-pornography ministry created to help women struggling with pornography addiction. And in Hinduism, according to filmmaker and sex addict Kaveh Zahedi, there's the idea in Hinduism of a negative path to God. Instead of doing good, you do really bad. And arguably, sin is a better path because you learn more deeply what it is you're dealing with. They say the worst sinners make the greatest saints. Number 3. Nymphomania is not a sin. Alfred Kinsey said, "The only unnatural sex act is that which you cannot perform, and some religions see nymphomania as a route to redemption or a celebration of marriage." In Christianity, check out ChristianNymphos.org, whose mission is to teach married women to walk in sexual freedom with their husbands. If when you think of toys and church ladies, you think of a nice elderly lady selling hand-knit doll clothes at a church bazaar, the toy reviews at this site might knock your socks off. You can also participate in weekly polls such as, where is the most interesting place you'd like to make love to your hubby? And in Buddhism, there is not really any good and bad in Buddhism. There are just actions that bring us a greater version of happiness and those that bring us greater pain. That's from Peter Morrell in his article, A Buddhist View of Addiction. Addiction, including sexual addiction, for our purposes, nymphomania, is seen as a overactive desire sense that has gone way beyond normal limits. Number 2. It's not all fun and games. While the idea of nymphomania has its obvious attractions, it can actually be very dangerous and expensive. Also, while celebrity sex addicts make headlines and it all seems very exciting, I think it's important to note that 60% of sexual addicts were abused by someone in their childhood. Here are some negative consequences of sexually compulsive behavior: exposure to sexually transmitted disease, debt, legal problems, damaged relationships, interference with your work and social life, loss of reputation, and vulnerability to anxiety and depression. Number 1. Nymphomaniacs don't even enjoy sex. Joan Crawford said, "I need sex for a clear complexion, but I'd rather do it for love." Think about it. If you are compelled to do something frequently, do you enjoy it? I mean, I love eating chocolate as a treat, but if that's all I did all day long, I think I'd get bored of the flavor pretty fast. So what if you can't stop eating chocolate, even though you know you're hurting loved ones, your career, spending all of your money, and possibly even sending yourself straight to hell? For many addicts, it becomes a way to numb our painful feelings, kill time, or stop feeling lonely, says Kelly McDaniel, licensed professional counselor in San Antonio, Texas, and author of Ready to Heal: Women Facing Love, Sex, and Relationship Addiction.
So I really hope you enjoyed that video about nymphomaniacs. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you liked it, give us a like. It helps this video reach more people. Also, do subscribe to our channel. We put out a new video just like this 7 days a week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Big subscribe button on the screen now. Also, if you like this video about sex, you're probably also going to like our other video about 10 beautiful female athletes who posed for Playboy. Click on that now. Also, the other one we'll link over to is the top 10 unsexiest world records based around sex. So again, thank you for watching.